In this week's episode of Akame ga Kill, the hype train is coming! Woo woo! This is a pretty tubular episode of Akame ga Kill, which was introducing an assload of new characters. There was a ton of fan service, and they are also building on the other members of Night Raid. In particular, they focused on Shile this week a little bit, and she's known as sort of the ditzy member of the group. In fact, she's the only member of Night Raid who actually doesn't have a specific job. And this week, she's going to be training Tatsumi, and the only real training they do is she actually makes him wear armor and go swimming. And this is an excuse to see him sweat a little, and to see a little bit of Bulot fan service for the ladies. Fear not, guys, you're gonna get a little fan service too. There's a great scene where Tatsumi is wearing Zonk's old Imperial Arms weapon, which is that weird eye. And when he puts that on for a second, I immediately knew he was gonna see all of the main female leads in their undergarments. And you're gonna get it. Shile, mine, and Akame. Drink it in, my friends. However, the scene takes a nosedive into serious territory when Tatsumi brings up the fact that he might be able to find an Imperial Arms that would allow him to bring his friends back. However, that is not going to be the case. The Night Raid guys get real serious, and even Bulot says, you get one life. Don't fuck it up. Shile's backstory is also revealed this week, and even though she seems to be a klutz at pretty much everything, she happens to be a natural-born killer. In the scene that's honestly pretty disturbing, she's hanging out with one of her friends, and suddenly her friend's ex-boyfriend comes over, and then a domestic dispute ensues, and then Shile just jumps in, slices this dude's throat, and from this point on, she realizes that she is amazing at killing people. This guy's friends try to get revenge for his death, and she just takes all of them out like a hot knife through butter. It's definitely a really intense scene, and I really love the black and white with the red for the blood. It just really sold the scene, and I'm glad they didn't censor anything. It was still very intense, especially the scene when she took out the boyfriend for the first time. That knife was in his neck for a very uncomfortable period of time. This all leads to what is possibly the most heartwarming scene of the series, where Tatsumi is mourning his friends and coming to terms with the fact that he's not going to be able to revive them. Shile comes out and sort of consoles him a little bit and lets him cry and promises she won't tell any of the other members. She even states this is now something that she can finally do, aside from just, you know, killing people. But the scene itself is really nice, and honestly, it just shows that they've really connected in this episode. But at the very end, they just decide to introduce two brand new characters, and Tatsumi happens to run into one of them, and it's this member of the Empire by the name of Seiryu, who is this one cute but very badass girl, and she actually has one of these awesome weapons as well, except that it's not like the ones that Night Raid uses. In fact, it's actually this little anthropomorphic dog-like creature by the name of Koro. I'm not sure what to expect from this thing, but apparently it's been incompatible with everybody except for Seiryu, and you can see that it's actually had some pretty bloody results, so I imagine this is just going to be the case of looks can be deceiving, and this little dog can probably mess some shit up. The other new character that is introduced this week is General Esdeath. She is one of the most charismatic female villains I've seen in a series in quite some time. And she doesn't even really say or do much this week, but she definitely leaves an icy impact. In fact, her powers involve ice! Apparently she has just been decimating this entire army in the north, and you can see there are just frozen bodies everywhere, and she's just dominating all of them. Literally, she's kind of a dominatrix. In fact, in the beginning of the episode, Night Raid is actually bringing up this one badass soldier in the north, and I thought he was going to end up being really important, we were going to see more of him, but when we finally cut to General Esdeath, she has this dude on a frickin' leash and chain, and is just kicking him in the face and treating him like a literal human dog. She is one of the most intimidating villains I've seen in quite some time, and I cannot wait to see more of her, because the leader of Night Raid really made it seem like she was going to be one hell of a threat. So I'm expecting a lot from her. So otherwise, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Akame ga Kill? I frigging loved it. I mean, it wasn't like a big action episode or anything, but the world itself is starting to seem a lot more interesting. Tatsumi's getting a lot more development. There was a lot of really funny moments, like when all of the women of Night Raid seemed to be, like, carnivorous. I like that they were finally getting into Shile's backstory. Her entire backstory is just really messed up, and it was handled really well, and they got through it really quick. In fact, a lot of things actually happened this week when they introduced all the stuff with Shile, and then they went over to the brand new character of Seiryu, and then they had the whole character of Esdeath, who God, I cannot wait to see what she's all about, because they haven't even, like, shown how she uses her ice powers yet. You just get to, like, see the aftermath of her destruction, and everybody seems to be pretty intimidated by her, and she seems like she's going to be a very major threat. The character of Seiryu, I'm not quite sure how to take her quite yet. She just seems really charming, cute, and funny, and her actual weapon, the little, like, Koro dog, like, I'm imagining maybe, like, it'll transform into like a big monster or something, or maybe it's kind of like Nibbler from Futurama, where it looks really cute, but it'll bite your head off and you won't even realize it. I don't know, I'm not really sure what to expect from this thing, because I didn't even realize there could be like living weapons that they could use like that. And the fact that it's being used by this cute little girl is just hilarious in and of itself. Again, looks can be deceiving. Otherwise, this was just a good episode. It seems like the production value was up just a little bit more in some parts, and everything was just really great this week, and I'm just really starting to dig the series a lot. So check out this week's episode. For me, personally, this is a 9 out of 10. Just a lot of really great development, a lot of cool characters, and General Esdeath kicks ass. Thank you guys for watching my review today. Before you leave, make sure and hit that like button so you can give it a thumbs up, and make sure and tell me what you guys thought about this week's episode of Akame ga Kill. Did you guys have a favorite scene? And what do you want to see from General Esdeath? And remember guys, if you haven't already, make sure and subscribe to the channel, and you can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links for those in the description box below.
Do you like Amazon.com? I know I do. Corey and I now have an Amazon link in our video description box below. And if you go to it and buy anything through Amazon.com, it will support our channel. So bookmark that link, make it happen, and support our channel without having to do a damn thing.
Another great way you guys can help support our channel is by donating directly through our PayPal link in the description box below. We recommend $2 a month, although this is completely optional. But the best way to go about this is by sneaking into your mom's room and taking $2. This way, she won't even notice. And we won't have to shake you up for all of your lunch money. So guys, that concludes this review today. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.